y el segundo, de regreso a lo básico, cómo preservar la educación israelí sin un costo adicional. Einat es graduada de Harvard y es doctora en Ciencias Políticas de la Universidad de Cambridge. Einat, bevakasha, and I'm sorry for the inconvenience.
I can sing, if you want. Shalom. First, I will begin with a deep apology. I do not have the fortune and the pleasure of speaking Spanish. So sadly, I will talk today in the far less beautiful English. I wanted to thank you very much for having me here tonight, to thank the community, the president of the community, and Karen Ayesod, and for all the good work that they do to strengthen the relationship between Israel and the Jewish community here. So I commend you for all the great work. I'm here part of the importance that I see to the relationship between Israel and the Jewish people. Beginning in October, I'm also going to be heading in the Knesset the Commission on Diaspora Affairs, the relationship between Israel and the Jewish communities around the world. And as part of that, it's very important for me that together we will forge a new contract for a new century. For the last century, the contract was very much about building a new and struggling country that we celebrate today. At the time, the view was that every Jew should live in Israel. And now I have a new offer, a new contract, that says that Israel should be the first or second home of every Jew. And second home doesn't mean that you have to buy a house in Jerusalem, but it does mean that you should make Israel a lifelong relationship. And this is what I see our future together, that Israel becomes the second place that you call your home, that you have a relationship with, that you care about, that you engage with. And I'm here really to make sure that together we can forge this new contract and this new relationship. So, it may be a little obvious, but today is exactly the day that we remind ourselves of what we're celebrating and what there is to celebrate. And there is very much to celebrate. Sometimes we forget that, so it's good there's a day in the year that we remember that. Israel continues to be still one of the most remarkable achievements of the human spirit. The idea that a people have chosen to rise, to build a new country, to come back to their ancient land, after so many years of forgetting to be a sovereign people, to build a state, to return to sovereignty, is a remarkable thing. When so many revolutions have failed, Zionism has succeeded, has triumphed, and it's certainly a basis for celebration. We are now witnessing around the Arab world revolutions. People rising up, calling for democracy, for liberty, for their rights, for equality between men and women. And for too long, many people have talked in the region that Israel is the problem. Israel is the problem in the Middle East. But today we see that Israel is not the problem, rather it's the solution. The values of Israel are the solution for the Middle East. It is those values that the Arab people seek. The values of democracy, of openness, of liberty, of the equality between men and women. And it is also the greatest hope that Israel has for peace. Because peace is going to be so much easier when we will share the same values, when we could really have peace of societies that respects the values of openness and liberty. And today we find ourselves in the midst of a struggle. It's a new war, it's a new battle, not the one that we've seen in the past, one that does not involve tanks or airplanes or even bombs. It is a battle of ideas. There's an effort around the world, and you mentioned that. There's an effort to isolate Israel, to delegitimize it, to say that the idea that we celebrate today is not an idea that should exist. The idea that the Jewish people have the right as a people to their own land, in the only country, in the only land in which they were ever sovereign, this idea today is under attack. Every piece of it is under attack. We see people attacking the idea that the Jewish people are a people. Sometimes I hear people saying, the Jewish people are not a people, you're only a religion. And because you're only a religion, you shouldn't have a state. We hear an attack on the idea that there is a historical connection between the Jewish people and the land of Israel, a denial of this historical and emotional relationship. It's very important to remind people of that. And this is the idea that's under attack. It's not the policies of this or that Israeli government. It's this very fundamental idea. And we are all here together, Israelis, Jews, lovers of Israel from around the world. We are out there to win this battle of ideas. And I have no doubt that just as we have triumphed in our previous wars and battles, we will triumph in this battle too. Because the idea of Israel is still one of the most remarkable, inspiring ideas in human history. We are here to celebrate the fact that this idea, incredibly, has become a reality. And I'm truly honored to be here to celebrate this with you. Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you. Very well.
Thanks. Ahora sí, hemos llegado.